Hi folks, this is Donnie again with another video in my series around user interfaces on popular alternative social networks. Many people are actually looking for alternatives to Facebook and to Twitter. Those are the large centralized networks. And obviously many people are dissatisfied with things like lack of chronological feeds, censorship, lack of censorship, insertion of adverts in feeds, that sort of thing. So I've been looking at quite a few networks. My previous two videos, I covered two peer-to-peer networks that run off your own computer with no centralized server. And somebody did make a comment about MeWe, and I thought, you know what, let me feature MeWe because it's one of the big alternative networks that's very close, or very equivalent, should I say, to Facebook. A very similar type of experience. A lot of users, very busy. In fact, out of all of my networks that I'm busy on at the moment, I've got my biggest following of about nearly 11,000 followers on MeWe, so certainly nothing to sneeze at. So let me just cover briefly, before I get into it, sort of 3 or 4 things I don't like about MeWe. As I've said already, it's centralized, which means if they shut down or they're censored or blocked or whatever, they're offline, there's nothing you can do, nothing works. It is a walled garden network, similar to Facebook in that, and various other centralized networks, in that there is no everything happens within that walled garden. So there's no easy interconnectivity between other social networks. You can't post from Twitter into MeWe or vice versa. So also no auto posting at this stage, which some have complained about, especially brands and organizations that like to auto post across the different networks. There's also no sharing of a link to outside networks. So I can't take a good post that I've done in MeWe and go post the link for people, say on Twitter or somewhere else, to read it. They've got to register to get in, and hence why I'm doing the video, so people can get an idea of what it looks like and what it does. Then yes, it's not an open source network, so and that also means you can't self-host it as well. So you can't go and host MeWe yourself and fork it and come up with an alternative. It's basically take it or leave it. Not that it's a bad network, but those are just some of the things that I'm not so keen about, and I'm hoping they're all still going to open up and at least allow auto posting and sharing of links outside. Before we get into MeWe itself, we should possibly say what are the positives then around it, and partly the positives are there. Although it's centralized, they do, can I say, they are uncompromising about trust, respect, and integrity. So their Bill of Rights or privacy, around privacy, what they've said there is, you own your personal information. You're not going to receive targeted third-party adverts, and I'll show you why when we get into it. You've got full control over your news feed, the order of posts as they appear. They're not manipulating it. They're not controlling or anything, or accessing your content. We should just qualify that, of course, what you post on your personal feed, nobody's going to censor. But if you're in a group, it's sometimes a different matter. Remember, now you're commenting back to a group. You're posting in a group, and you've got to adhere to the group rules. So just take that with a pinch of salt. It is very much around your personal profile feed. So I think let's get into it. This is actually what it looks like. That's the view that you're going to see when you go in. And this is the home feed view. You'll see up there is home. Essentially in this view, you are following people's profiles. So it's not groups or organizations. It's only the people you follow. So if you're following 5 people, you're going to see 5 people's posts in that view. My problem was maybe I followed too many people, and then I found a lot of posts that I didn't like, and I actually ended up having to block quite a few of those people or unfriend them because it wasn't things that I really wanted to read. So if you find you've only got, say, 3 family members or 5 family members that you follow, you know what, that's all you're going to see. And that's not what you can say of Twitter and Facebook, that injects lots of adverts, brand advertising and other things. So maybe it can be as clean as you want it to be, or it can be as noisy and messy as you want it to be. So I see people complaining about that, but it's what you've set yourself up for. You do have control over it. So then no adverts are inserted, and you've got to follow somebody to actually see their posts. Another interesting thing is the languages down here. Look at this. You can actually, I'm on English at the moment, but if I clicked, say, on Italian, one click and it's changed the interface like obviously not the group names, but you'll see a lot of the instructions and everything have turned into Italian, the site itself. But let me just go back to English again. So again, it's probably the social network, the richest functionality closest to Facebook. You do have chatting, you can follow people, you can chat directly with people, or you can have group chats, and there's also chats around events that you can create. This view essentially is also showing me, for the various groups I'm following, unread posts that I haven't read yet. It's also showing me on my own profile. There's little statuses you can adjust, like what you're eating, what you're drinking, what I'm reading, what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, and what I'm quoting at the moment. The feed, you'll see there, chronological. I have got a setting at the moment to pop posts up to the top that have been recently commented on. So it might not be, you can have a pure chronological order if you want to. And you'll notice also on anybody's feed, say for example this feed, what's also interesting is it's not just a like button or a dislike button. You've got a variety of different types of emojis. So you don't have to go with a thumbs up if you don't want to. You can choose, where are my emojis now? Oh, that's interesting. Emojis shouldn't have been limited. Okay, it's not playing along with me at the moment, but essentially there's hundreds of different emojis, and you can pick any different one you can have. So in a particular post, you can get lots of difference of expressions. Some people have complained about it. Look, I think it's more options, so it's quite useful. You can also reshare anybody's post to only your timeline, into a group, as a private message to somebody, or even into an event. So that's basically just the feed view. Then the next area where you interact would be chats. Now chats, like I said, you've got contact chats, which you can speak to individuals on. And you can see these are unread. I don't generally engage because a lot of people are just hi and so on. But you can see there's a lot of my contacts that I've got. You see there, that's a sort of example, like highs and that sort of thing. Then there's also group chats, and these happen around a particular group itself. And I'll show you a little bit more just now for groups, but there's a lot of chats. So groups can have chats on, or groups can have chats also disabled. And then of course events themselves, and I'll show an event just before we finish off. And I'll also show how a post itself works. But let's have a look at groups then. Groups for me is the heart of MeWe, mainly because I've actually noticed that a lot of the social networks have become really popular, especially for bloggers and that sort of thing, is where they're interest based. So MeWe does have a central directory of different categories of interest or topics or whatever you want to call it. And at that place, you'll be able to find basically anything that is of interest to you. I mean, they cover an incredibly wide variety. And what MeWe has done is that they've categorized them, so you can jump from a category and then down into having a look what groups there are. You can jump then to having a look at there's a couple of suggested categories here. Just wanted to see where I get to the main browse groups. There we go. These are all the categories you can see on the left: alternative energy, astrology, blogs, coders, co-workers, communication, gamers, green, happiness, that sort of thing. And you'll see a couple of featured categories as well over there. If we go down here, say to technology, I'm mostly active in technology. So if somebody was interested in technology, you'd click on technology. And here you will find it's a more or less ordered collection of technical groups based basically on the number of members or activity. So you'll see this one around Watchmaker Official's got 14,000 members. Mine for Tech and Gadgets, 10,976. The other thing you're going to notice very quickly on this page is there's a join and sometimes there's an apply. The difference there is that join means it's a public open group. You can just click and join and subscribe and follow and off you go. The apply one, the request goes to the group owner and the group owner will decide whether they add you or not. You can also opt to ask the person, have a couple of questions the person must answer before you let them in. But that's in essence sort of how you'd find the group. So let's jump into my Tech and Gadget group and then I can show you what a group view looks like. This is the view you're going to see when you're in the group. And again, you're going to see a feed in the middle down there. This is a link you can use to share your group as well. And then they've also got tags on the right. These are all various tags that have been used during posting. So if you wanted to search for something in this group, say related to, let me have a look here. It will actually filter on the see, I've got to sort of, I can scroll down a bit, say broadcasting. I don't know if I've got anything. Oh, there is one post on broadcasting, but it'll filter for you on that. On the unfiltered view, the other thing you're going to notice there is a pinned post. You can pin a post or two to the top of your feed, and in my case I've got one post there with group rules. And I've explained to people there that I'm not allowing people to post in this group. Everybody's welcome to comment on my posts and to reshare and that sort of thing, but I don't want other people creating posts because it became an absolute nightmare to try and moderate it. It just kept me full-time busy and I never got around to posting anything myself. So I'm glad to see most people understand that. It keeps it cleaner as well for my followers. They just get a clean 2 or 3 posts a day or so without lots and lots of other unrelated posts. The idea being because we stay on the theme here about tech and gadgets. It's not about gardening and bananas and various other odds and ends. You can also have a look up at the top right, a little information icon there. If you click on it, it gives you more information about the group itself. And you can set this obviously as the group owner. On any particular post, if you look at the various replies as well, because this is obviously the issue for the moderator themselves, you have got options here as a moderator to be able to delete the comment. You can switch on or off comment notifications as well, and you can also report the commenter. And this goes the same for feeds, posts that you'll see in your profile feed, in the main feed. What is nice is you can give a reason there to MeWe why you're reporting the post, and you can at the same time automatically block the user or not. You can maybe just report it and not necessarily block the user. The other thing you can also do with the post is you can also reshare, and I've covered that as well on the profile side already. The other thing at the top here with groups is members. You can click on members and see who all the members are. For individual members, you can remove them. You can chat to them if they're allowed in chat, of course. You can chat to them directly. You can add them as a contact, or you can block them. And there's a few other options here. Is you can set group permissions, whether they're just a viewer, whether they can post. These are default, obviously, that I've set there not to post, but people can comment and invite. So these are the various things you can control over there. Photos and videos will just be a view of any particular photos that were posted as posts. Files I don't have at the moment, but you can upload files as well for sharing. You can have group events, which I'll cover a little bit later in terms of how to book an event. I don't have any for my groups, but you can have those. And then settings for the group. This is where you set the description, the banner, the category, and so on. And under membership, you can set certain defaults over here as well. I've set mine as an open group. Anyone can join. You can share the link and you can just join. Selective would require, first of all, admin approval, and that's typically where you'll set the questions. Private is is completely hidden. Basically, it's only you that sends out an invite. So you might want to have that for a family group, for example. Then you won't be pestered with other external people wanting to come and join the group. You can decide whether to have it included in the directory or not. So in many cases, like I say, with a family group, you may untick that. And then you can set there the default for the new member, whether they're a viewer, limited, or a full contributor. Here is the profile questions that you can set for anybody new. I don't have any profile questions because mine is an open group. Anybody can just click to join. This is where you set the permissions up for contributing, limited, or viewing members only. You can set certain notifications and so on. I keep the digest and so on off. It just gets too busy. And that is where you'd switch on or off the group chat. As I said, I've kept that off because, again, it got too busy and then people would complain about other people said, and I don't have time to moderate. You can, of course, with these groups, you could have a community type group where you've got 5 or 6 administrators, where somebody is looking after the chat moderation, somebody else is looking after posts. So that is possible, but it's very busy. It's not the way I want to run a group. All I'm saying is, though, MeWe's got an incredible flexibility. When you say groups, it can be private, small family groups, it could be a large open community with multiple administrators, or it could be almost a blog type group that I'm running here at the moment. So I do like that very much around the flexibility. I think that's actually incredibly useful. The other thing we can move on to is pages. So pages will be something people are used to on Facebook, where you've got a brand that actually runs a page. Again, it's got to be followed. You've got to follow a page before you're going to see its posts. So again, it can't just insert itself, even if it's these pages, by the way, are paid for. I mean, you will see here, if I go and want to add a new page, it's going to say $1.99 a month. So I didn't opt for that because I'm a free blogger. But yes, you can. So the point is, I do follow a few pages, and there is the flexibility here for pages. And I see that pages also doesn't allow auto posting. I would have thought that possibly here it was allowed, but in essence it's just more place for brands or fan pages, that sort of thing people would create and probably use pages for versus groups. Then I think the events is quite interesting. Events is more also like Facebook has got. In fact, it's probably the best I've seen. Maybe Hubzilla comes close to it, but probably not even as good as possibly MeWe, apart from the fact it's not public. Anybody can create an event. You can create an event, a personal event. You can create one in a group, and you can create public events. So I've created, for example, a public event over here, Falcon X launch, and you'll see you can add photos or photo albums to it. You can give it a date. You can say no time applicable, a location, who the host is. You can have a chat here, which is very nice. So as people are accepting, RSVPing to the event, they can already start having a chat. They can post photos if you allow them to. So it is actually very, very interactive. Something you don't see on many of the new alternative networks. Under the attendees, you'll also get summaries of who's going, not going, or who's maybe going. So this will build up with RSVP lists. If there's any photos, you'll see the photos. You can upload more photos, and then there's a couple of settings here for the group, for the event itself. Sorry, where you can set the type of membership, permissions, the notifications, and you can switch things like the event chat on and off. So again, quite a lot of flexibility, I think. Then the other next important part to go and look at for MeWe is probably the profile view. So you get the profile view up here. Again, it's got quite a rich profile. I seem to recall you can even add a few extra fields, but essentially on the left here you can see how much space I've got. I've actually listed all my different groups that I'm posting on MeWe with the links to them. But you've got interests, relationship, college, high school, company, job, city. There's a few other things you can also add that I haven't added. Again, the center part is in the middle is the feed. So what you're going to see here, this is going to show, first of all, I've got a pinned post on my profile itself. So that's obviously the first thing people are going to see. What they're going to see below that is not my group posts, but what they're going to see is profile feed posts that I posted. In other words, not to a group, just a personal feed. If they're family, they're going to see maybe the private or the post they're allowed to see. Other people are only going to see my public posts. So you can lock down or open up as much as you want. And you can see the posts are quite rich as well. I mean, there's images for links. You can click to go straight to the links. You can open it up to get more information. There's a lot of space to type in. And you do have markdown for things like bold and so on as well over there. Back to the top of the profile, you can see here you've also got a view of your contacts, people that you've already friended. You'll notice I've blocked 51 people, and those were people that, like I said, were either trolling or other things. So feel free to block. It makes your own experience much pleasanter. You can delete, you can chat directly, and you can obviously go straight to people's profiles as well. Then photos and videos is it also collects from my personal profile, again, not the group. Any posts that I've posted photos about, you'll be able to see all the various photos in here. Another interesting thing with MeWe, it's not very advanced, but it does have albums. So you'll see, for example, I have got 3 albums here. And I could click on, for example, Cape Town, and there are 3 photos in there. And you can sort of flip between the photos. So not too bad. Download as well. I've allowed downloads, and people can obviously comment over there. The last one over here, groups, is going to show what groups I'm managing and what groups am I actually following as well. So it's just a view over there that one can see. There's 1 or 2 other things here before I get on to how you post itself. If you go to my cloud over here, MeWe has had to also look that, remember, they're not inserting adverts into your social feed at all, and it's free for you to use. There are 1 or 2 limitations though. So they sell a few things like a theme, emoji, packs, that sort of thing. And also you've got free space up to 8 gigabytes. Now I've been using it probably a year and a half, 2 years now. I can't remember exactly how long. I've still got 7.75 gigabyte free of the 8. So it's not that you're going to run out of space, but there is an option then there to go and get more space. And that's the type of price you'd pay, $3.99 a month for 50 gigs. But as I said, up to the 8 gigs, it's free, and I've not had to pay for anything yet. But just keep that in mind, that obviously it's a certain threshold that starts costing them a lot more money as well. So they do have to monetize on a few sort of minor areas, I think. The other one, just to show you quickly, is settings. So there's my various account settings. Obviously, if you're a premium member you're paying for, or a supporter, you can opt for different badges after your name. This would be if I've got any monthly subscriptions that I was busy paying for. Privacy and sharing, there's a couple of settings you can set here about whether you can be found in search, contact list availability, chat requests. You can see I've got it switched on. Downloading of timeline photos, yes or no, downloading private post photos. Notifications and alerts, you can switch on and off. There is one shortcoming though for MeWe, is that you can't for some reason turn off notifications for emojis, and I don't know why you'd want to know all the time that people are clicking on emojis. So you'll see here in my notification feed, lots and lots of these are, look there, emoji, somebody emojied, somebody emojied. Okay, there's a comment. That's what I want to see. I want to see somebody's comment. So I'd click on that comment and then I'll go and reply to that person. So what I've discovered is the quick trick for me to try and filter through. All I do is I quickly go down and I see, okay, there's something replied, so I need to go look at that. Emoji ignore, emoji ignore, emoji ignore, emoji ignore, emoji ignore, emoji ignore, and so on and so on. Okay, there's a comment and I'll go to that. The ones that are, you'll see this is unhighlighted, which means I've read. Unfortunately, they don't clear. That's another thing that could be a lot better, I think. The ones that are dark here means that I haven't read them yet. So you would just click there to say mark all as read, but as said, they don't disappear. So it's again something that could actually be improved on. This is your feed preferences, which shows what do you see in your feeds. And remember what I said earlier was you could opt to just see new posts purely in the order that they are posted in, then you'd select that. But you'll notice there for my private posts, I have selected there to have anything that's been commented on to bubble up to the top. So it's not pure chronological order, but you can control that yourself. So it's also quite useful. And on groups that you've subscribed to, you can here also switch on and off group alerts. You'll see some of them I don't want alerts on. I'll go and look at them when I'm interested, but don't give me alerts on it, and don't alert me on the chats either. So you can set that sort of thing yourself. I'll just also briefly show you then the store up here, because that is where they do make a little bit of money at least. So for example, you can buy support over there and then add it to your badge. These are the stickers and the emoji packs I talked about. They're all like $1.99. I haven't really worried with buying them, but there they are. And I'll see if we can jump straight to them. There's stickers as well, sticker packs, quite a few sticker packs. The subscriptions, this is where you can subscribe to, for example, voice and video you can also make use of. Then you can do voice or video chats with people on the feed, on the network itself. Your storage and your page subscription, and then themes. The moment there's only a dark theme, so I've got the dark theme purchased. I think it was $1 or $2 or so once off. And you'll see here, let me just go back to something over here and I can show you what it sort of looks like. I'm on dark theme at the moment. If you click there and I say no, I want the light theme, then it changes to the light theme. I just sort of find that a bit bright, but I know a lot of people don't like the dark theme. So let me just go back. So let's have a look how we'd actually do posting. Posting will be at the top of each feed. So normally you're going to be posting either in home, groups. If you've got a page, you'll be posting in a page. Essentially, what you're posting on is going to be identical in groups and in home. The only difference is the visibility of the post itself. So what I meant by the visibility was over here. This is now this is in my personal profile feed that I'm posting, not a group. I've got options like public, anybody can view, and it's my default. Obviously you can change your default to any one of the others if you want to. My contacts will be any of my contacts can view, and then close friends is an interesting one because you can select as your close friends just particular people, and maybe that's just your family. So if you post to that one and you set it up, say, for family, just your family or your immediate 5 or 6 friends are going to see it. So again, I like that fine tuning that's actually available. It's something that I remember on Google Plus that I haven't seen, that aren't always present on a lot of the other on the other networks. So let's leave that at public. I'm just going to put some text in that I've already prepared. What you'll note here, first off, is the title at the top. You can take it there and you can choose to bold or italicize it or strike through. So I tend to always bold my first line as the title of my post. You can put some comments in. If you put in a link, the moment you put a link in, it brings the link actually in for you, which is quite nice. You can see here there's a little preview. There's some text. There's the original title. And there's the link itself down here, and it'll include that in the post. That's how you get the post to show the preview. If the post has got 3 or 4 or 5 different thumbnail photos inside that post, you used to be able to scroll back and forth here between it, and I'm not seeing it anymore, so I don't know if it's been discontinued, but I quite like that because maybe you don't want the default thumbnail, you want to choose something else. You can also attach photos, files, a video itself. These are all uploaded things. An animated GIF, a poll, a voice clip, or stickers. I can just show you the poll quickly. That's quite interesting. So you can ask a question. You can add different options here as 1, 2, 3, 4. You can say whether the poll's going to have a limit and it closes, or whether it's an open-ended poll, and it'll be adding up for you the whole time how many people have voted, option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, very nice for groups, especially where you want to vote on something within the group. And that's essentially, you can insert emojis as well. The hashtags, I've just typed them in, but you can also choose hashtags and create new hashtags over there if you want to. I don't tend to do that though. And when you're done with that, basically you just click post and it'll appear at the top of your feed like that. You can see the bolded text. There's the link someone can click on. And that's actually really about it for the user interface for MeWe. I'm just going to delete this post now. If there's any questions, you're welcome to pop any questions down below in the video. I may be covering a few more social networks if there's any interest in a couple of the more of the alternative networks, just to get a feel, of what the look and feel actually looks like. And you can also follow my daily blog posts on my website at gadgeteer.co.za/blog. It'll just give you an idea of what I'm actually busy looking at the moment, and what I'm finding interesting in the tech world. I cover a bit of tech and environment, traditional shaving as well, and one or two other topics. I'll try to keep it to about 5 or 6 a day. But yeah, maybe I'm finding quite interesting at the moment, so I'm still busy on it. I'm just hoping that, like I said, a few of the disadvantages are going to be sorted out. And then it could be quite a potentially interesting network. We're also hoping, I did make a suggestion to them, should they not look at federating with some of the other social networks, using ActivityPub or something to integrate with things like Hubzilla and Friendica. Because again, a walled garden means you're either in it or you're out of it. And if you're in MeWe, you can't from inside MeWe interact or let anybody else follow you from anywhere else outside of MeWe. And I don't think that walled gardens are the future of social media on the internet. I think people are looking for some alternative, but they're trying to find still the mix between enjoying the environment they're in and being able to follow friends and so on that are outside of the network, and vice versa. So yeah, look, maybe I'll look at a couple more in the future then, if we find some more that are interesting. But until then cheers and enjoy.